Yo, yo, yo. There we go. What's going on? How are you, Connor? How are you, everyone else? We're back. So, gonna be investigating. See if we can recur that crash. Alright, so that seems correct. Interesting. I guess I didn't hook up the quarry or the future station yet. Ah! Holy fuck. Alright. So that crash doesn't happen anymore. That's good. I'm doing pretty well. A little sleepy today. Usually happens after I go to work. First morning after a work day is sometimes a little fuck. You know what I mean? So I'm waking up, doing a quick game here, see what we got going for us. I imagine it will not end super well. Pretty sure we're still gonna hit that crash at some point. Yeah, so far the map, I actually like how the map came out in terms of the center areas. I probably said that yesterday, but for me, it's looking all right. Aha, pranked. One of the things that I do want to do at some point is figure out, like... Oh, whoa, we got lag. I don't know about anything else. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Yeah, we're getting some lag. It's probably from some debug messages or whatever. Pretty epic debug messages. Holy shit. Ow. My leg. I do like that the AI automatically take their correct naturals, it seems. At least on this side. Holy shit, what is that? But yeah, it seems pretty good. My build order is all kinds of whack right now. Classic sleepy build order. Nice hit you. Oh, I was probably just talking about the crash that we were experiencing the other day that I want to try to get some understanding of. Holy lag. I don't know what the fuck we're experiencing right now, but it's bad. It's okay, I'm waking up a little bit. Things are happening. I do like how open the base is, though. Like, I got a lot of room here to move around. We are approaching crash time. This is around the same time that we usually crash in this map. Maybe Iquer added debug messages or something for the crashes, and that's why we're getting these very bizarre behaviors. Ah! Ah! Holy shit. I was not expecting that one. I really did not expect that one. That's crazy. Hey, I was gonna take that base, you fuck. Now I gotta go into the middle of the map. God damn it. Hi. No, somebody's already decided to go there. It's okay, well... Oh, there we go. We'll crash. That's fine. I just wanted to see... It was like a nice way for me to wake up to have to do all those tasks. I really don't know what's up with the lag, but I also figured I would use that to test some shit. Of course, Notepad++ is freezing here. Alright, well, that looks like our problem with the lag. So, what is that? That's line 354. That's the only thing that's different anyway. Holy shit. Yeah, no fucking wonder. Alright, I'm going to disable a couple of those debug messages. They can always be re-enabled later. That should remove the lag part. As far as the crash, I have no idea what's causing that. Just to rule out any really weird shit, what I'm going to do is look into playing on a different melee map. See if we get a similar result. So we'll just fast forward this one. Oh. I forgot I should have hit free for all. So I didn't get bullied by multiple men. I might still get bullied, but whatever. It's okay, what the fuck? We have the Guardian of Zeratul, who is a zealot for some reason. Zeratul alternate. So don't worry about it. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, so far at least, it doesn't seem to be happening in this map, which is really bizarre. Reasonable. Oh. Sorry to hear that, roller skates. What are you going to... Oh, okay. Are they already repairing it and all that? Really, the only thing I can think of here is that somehow the crashes are occurring for very bizarre reasons. Oh wait, I can do this. Burger 12. Oh, shit. Alright, now I'm safe. That is pretty stupid. That's what I'll say. As long as it's not a massive hole or whatever. That's what you gotta worry about. So, assuming this one works fine, the issue is apparently just with the crashed battlecruiser image. That's all I changed, was I changed the unit ID from crashed battlecruiser to stasis cell. I have no idea why the crashed battlecruiser itself would be bugged. Wow, that was hilarious. I am enjoying watching all of these enemies roll in and die horrible deaths, though. Yeah, so we seem to be fine now. Fucking beats me. Maybe the spiders will do battle with the wasps. You'll have a giant civil war on your hands. I just don't understand why there would be any issue. Oops. Like, because I've looked at this and I'm like, okay, maybe it has something to do with the, like the structure, like maybe when it's on fire or something, but no. Like there's no issues with it when I'm attacking it, but somehow removing it from the game, from the map, stopped the crash. So I don't have any idea why that would be the case. Trees aside, how's it going? Well, I've at least patched up this map so that it can be played, which is nice. And it was such a stupid, like, not obvious thing that I still want to research so I can understand something about it. But it's nice. Otherwise, I'm going to be working on putting the finishing touches on this map before I move on. At least with its layout. I might do some more decoration later on. But for now, I'm feeling pretty good about how things have gone. It's a 6-player map. The white and yellow start locations are just there to assign resource area IDs and also for observers. So the top 3 that you see here, red, blue, and teal, are one team, in theory, if you're playing at a team game. And then you got purple, orange, and brown. Those guys are the bottom team. It's a rotationally symmetrical map, which means it's not symmetrical, really. It's got some really wacky algorithmic shit behind it, I think. I don't fully understand it myself. And then I did a lot of, like, mirror symmetry, which is purely symmetrical. For the left and right area that you see here, and for the north and south after these bases. So like the asphalt island base over here is symmetrical with the one in the top right, and then this area with the Hydra down there is also symmetrical with the area in the top left. But otherwise, it's definitely a crazy experiment. I really like specifically how the middle of the map came out. I feel like it's going to be a nice hot spot of activity, where you have a lovely amount of resources and also a decent amount of connections between bases. These are not symmetrical, like all 4 of these are not symmetrical with one another, but they come in 2 pairs. The left and right bases are symmetrical, and the top and bottom bases are symmetrical. The only thing that really makes them not all completely symmetrical is the fact that the top and bottom bases have 2 ramps into them, as well as 1 ramp leading out, whereas the left and right bases are a little bit more secure. They only have one ramp leading into them. Definitely designed to be more of a 3-player or like a team map where it's either 3v3 or 2v2. And one of the more unique aspects of it is the fact that one of the players will start out with a double gas and an extra mineral field. Not 100% sure how that'll affect things. Obviously, if you're going to be like, you can pick that spot deliberately. It's the last slot in both teams, so you can decide, hey, I want to be the guy with the double gas. But I like the idea that as a result, they have way more entrances to their base. Their natural is limited on minerals, but also more like exposed and has less build space. In theory, can be attacked more directly. Like, there's some balance there. Yeah, I mean, in general, there's not a whole lot of resources that you can grab. The islands are double gas, so they're kind of useful as well. And then the high dirt ones have decent amounts of minerals on them. But you're mostly going to be gravitating towards the middle of the map in this particular case. I think if this map ended up being bigger and this was one aspect of it, it probably would have done a little bit better, because I would have been able to take like the left and right areas with the installation roof ramp and stuff. I would have been able to feed those out into more expansions, but still being adjacent to the middle of the map. So like there would be like 1 extra expansion on the left and right. And I think that might have helped keep things a little bit more fresh. As of right now, you're really going to be gunning for the middle of the map, but you can still use these rotations around, so we'll see what happens. Stasis chambers are just destructible cocks. Nothing abnormal there. Yeah, I think in the early game they'll definitely help some stuff. Though, of course, the AI is really stupid with them, doesn't attack them, and also just spins units around them. So, love that. Eventually we'll have them... we basically have to tell them to treat buildings and other things that are blocking pathing, like units owned by player 12, which it would include resources. We need to have them treat those as if they were like terrain or doodads or something that did not have pathing. And then those would have to update, I guess, every so often. They'd have to recalculate that. So not sure how difficult that will end up being, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's the rundown of the map. The main changes I need to do are, I need to work in something more substantial to the corners, basically. This area over here and its symmetrical counterpart. Really nothing going on there. I could either make it so that it cuts into the coastal cliff over here a little bit more aggressively, and as a result, makes it more vulnerable. Like you could park siege tanks over here or something. You can already kind of do that if you really want to, but I don't know. I feel like there should probably be something more interesting that can happen over here than just a wide expanse. And in the top left, I don't really know what to do with this high dirt area. I was thinking of linking it over here to feed out to more of a cliff, but really it's like this part of the map is just wasted. Like both this area over here and the area, but really the whole top strip is kind of wasted. I do like that there's room to maneuver around and move your army in the back line if you need to, but maybe I just need to end up compressing the map a little bit further, because without adding another base, which I don't know if that's necessarily reasonable. Like there was even a spot for it over here before I moved there. That was supposed to be like the natural of the double gas player, and then I moved it down here. I could throw like a mineral only somewhere over there. That might add some value, but for me it just feels like doesn't feel as integrated into the rest of the map right now. So I'm going to try to fix that by the end of today's stream. As far as proportions go and like spacing, that is something I am still struggling with, I think. Just because I don't really know, like, is this too much build space in the main, not enough build space in the main? I kind of want to learn what those rules are, generally speaking, so that I know when to bend them or just remove them entirely. Obviously, I'm mostly interested in making asymmetrical maps in the future, but I've made a lot of symmetrical maps for the time being, for the sake of really learning like the craft of making a melee map. And I think it has already started to positively influence my ability to make campaign maps, because my campaign maps are meant to support melee gameplay and like melee styled gameplay. So I need to make sure that there's sufficient build space for large amounts of production structures and supply and all that stuff. I need to make sure that there's enough maneuverability so that armies can move around and still be in the game, even if they're moved back from their initial position. All that stuff needs to be done. So for me, it's a bit more about like providing some sort of like I basically need to figure out what manner of tools I want to provide to the players of my maps and have like a basically just a consistent application of that, so that I know like I can always tell players that they can expect the same sort of tools in every situation. And maybe that, like, you know, that's basically avoiding gimmicks, but I'm not really 100% sure how to do that in all facets, so I'm still learning. Yeah, I mean, we have the ability to zoom around and stuff, but we don't have, obviously it's 2D, so there's less perspective issues probably. I know somebody in my server, he said something to the effect of like he zooms in tightly enough with it that he's basically looking at it in the in-game perspective, which helps him. I don't actually know what perspective zoom that would be. I don't think it's 150%. This is still way more data. I think he might even resize his window or something in SEM Draft so that his viewport specifically is the proper size, and that's what helps him gauge like how that is. I've tried to just make that a more automatic thing when I'm dealing with the 100% zoom. Like, I try to just understand that, but that's another thing that I'm learning as time goes on, is like how much space is too much, how much is not enough. Try to do that without having to jump in and test, so that I minimize the amount of work that I have to do after the fact to like shape it up and make it more open. It's like right now I feel like maybe I bordered on having this map be too open by comparison, like have too much build space or whatever. But I think it's better to do that and then have to cut back than it is to find ways to add more, because of the fact that when you have to add more, it's like, well, I might be changing the entire shape of this. Whereas if you're cutting back, it might just be adding unbuildable tiles or unwalkable and unbuildable tiles, like a new cliff or something, adding more cover, something like that. So I find it's probably better to err on the side of too much as opposed to not enough, just because it's easier to then cut back after the fact. But time will tell. I do think maybe a mineral only in the outskirt would help, because right now one of the concerns I have for the north and south borders are that they don't really feel that impactful, and by adding value to the area, it adds a reason for players to want to go there in the first place, right? So we're like trying to attract tourism, basically. And I think in that sense, this might be a good way to do that. Just add a mineral only. It's an asset for you. It's an asset that you want to deprive your enemy of. All of those reasons are reasons to take that pathways to those areas. My main concern is that it might be too heavily fortified or too easily taken and then just forgotten about. And so the question you always ask about stuff like that is, what's the balance? For the double gas in the island, which is situated behind one of the team's bases, in theory, you'll only really get there to attack this when you've already conquered that player's territory in some capacity. But you can infiltrate, you can harass, you can drop, and there's not very much build space. So there's actually going to be even less build space when I'm done with that area. And so because of that, it's extremely tenuous as a position. You really have to try to hold your own in that respect. You really have to try to do your best. to keep that area secure and stop enemies from getting there, because once they do get there, there's really not a whole lot of backup you can provide. So when you're facing situations like that, I would expect that this base here to justify itself in that sense. If you have a base that's even easier to defend and also easier to reinforce, like there's more open pathways, it's not an island, so on and so forth, harder to get access to because you have to go through so many other places. When you have situations like that, my first instinct is deprive the area of a lot of value, which is where it's like a mineral only. Okay, so there's no gas here, so that even if the player does have that base and it is safe, they can grab it and it can be like, all right, well, they're not going to get a whole lot of value out of it, it's just minerals. Beyond that, you can also limit how much build space they have. You can maybe limit the choke points or limit the pathways into the area so that if an enemy force doesn't get there, it's harder to weed them out or something like that. So there's a couple of different things I'm considering about that aspect, that proposition to add a mineral only. Time will tell. But one of the ideas that I did just have was to make the border over here unbuildable for all 4 of the side bases. So red, blue, purple, and orange. If I do it that way, my thinking is we will have more opportunity for players to throw dropships over there or something back to the island, or gain some sort of infiltration access back there, because it has to be guarded by an air unit. You can sort of border it with turrets if you want, but it's probably not going to work out as well as you would like. That's sort of what I'm thinking right now, is probably just add like some pretty pattern of cliff and block the whole area off from buildability, or at least like the majority of it. Probably means I'm going to have to move this big block of roof maybe down into the left 1 tile, because I still like the access that this idea provides. The idea that if you are able to infiltrate the base, I mean, this ramp is obviously free to walk up from the beginning, but if you walk up here, if there's no defenses or whatever, you could, in theory, like walk past this to get direct access to the mineral line. It's like just another angle for you to take as you're coming in. It's a very micro thing. It's not very big picture per se. So I want to keep that facilitated, and if I wall all this off with unbuildable tiles and unwalkable tiles, then obviously it's going to squeeze that choke even further, where it won't be as useful probably, but we'll see. Keep an eye out on that. So that's probably what I'm going to do immediately. That'll be a change that I do before I even tackle up here. But when you add the mineral only to this area and you kind of constrain the proportions around it so that it's less, there's less build space there, it's more populated with shit that you're gonna have to like take into account when you're trying to mount a defense or something like that. I might even make it so that it's not a super advantageous position. Like I might even do the inverse of what this ramp, this bit of cover over here is on all of the naturals. The idea being you take that and you can station some tanks or some dragoons or whatever you want to put up there. You can put them up there and they'll have height advantage. They'll have a nice eyesight lookout of everywhere that's over there. You have that benefit. I might do the inverse where it's easy for somebody to walk up with ranged units up something like this and then take shots at your workers or something. Conversely, it'll still be easy to just put some defenders over there, but odds are you're probably not going to want to do that. Oh, that's all right. I'm just talking out loud for everybody at this point. Just walking through my own mental process of trying to improve the map. That's why you gotta start not fucking off. I don't know. That is going to be a challenge, I'm sure. Uh-oh. It's definitely stupid, that's for sure. Alright, so we gotta make this symmetrical with the other one now. Well, I told you that all of the AI limitations that we're experiencing right now are going to coincide or ultimately result in you having to write a lot of new functions. Just remember that all this time, like, AI has been fucked this whole time. Nobody's been able to do anything. So I guess maybe I don't actually have to move the roof now. Seems like it's spaced adequately. Yeah, once we like actually finish the reverse engineering stuff, it's pretty open and shut in that respect. Yeah. So I really got to take a piss. I shall return in about a minute. All right, so now we've got our next task, filling out an area for the mineral only that we're canvassing here. Ho ho! Oops. Got to turn off my mirror symmetry. Here we go. Oh yeah, I never did check to see if SI updated SEM draft. Guess I'll check that now. If I can navigate to my web browser. That's a no. Very unfortunate. I sure hope he adds that feature soon so that I don't have to keep deleting a bunch of random shit. Mwah! All right, let's get this one done. And then I'll figure out where the resources are going. Oh, I guess I should figure out that, like, whether or not resources can even be put here. Or at what angle they need to be placed here. Problem with this is it's not quite what we want here. I think that's right. What's up, Foka? How are you? How are your Terran adventures going? So 1.5. So it looks like it's over here. The only question is that still going to be considered? Yeah, looks like it's fine. Yeah, you probably have to skip your barracks if you want really fast mech units. If that's what you're after. Obviously, also depends on the map, how many resources are available, and that sort of shit. Well, my personal favorite cheese build order in Hydra is the one where I get 2 starport halfway up plus 1 ship weapons and 2 wraiths by like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So if I can do it, you can too. Now, obviously, that's skipping a barracks until after your armory is started. So you are really vulnerable to being rushed, but it comes with the territory. That's why it's a cheese build. Armory requires a command center. Does not require a barracks. So you know how like Protoss can go forge fast, expand? You could do that with an armory now if you wanted to. Yeah. It's a pretty big... I mean, I agree that it is an incredibly particular change, right? What the fuck? Didn't I fix this with this at some point? Oh, region recalculation. All right. Fuck myself in the head. Yeah, I think I don't think I wrote down the build order anywhere. At some point I wrote it down, but I don't know if I... Oh. Yeah, I don't think I wrote it down anywhere, which is pretty unfortunate. But yeah, I had like a Wraith build order where you would basically do like... Man, that fucking gas thing is such a pain in my ass. Thanks, Alexander. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out too, except this bug keeps happening where the geysers are being assigned to the town down there. Yeah, I would need to actually write it down. It's also assuming 4 workers instead of 6. At some point, we're gonna... I really want to actually get that done today, if possible. Iquare, you said that there was melee create units hook in A's? Something for creating the starting units in A's? So yeah, on this map, which has pretty messy mineral distances, we have and 4 starting workers. We'll count out how fast it is for me to do this. That is a pretty crazy idea that you morph and upgrade that way. So I basically go 8 gas, which is pretty fucking fast, obviously. And then I go 9 depot, and I sit on that for a little while. Obviously, I don't have the money yet. I think when I last did this, it was a little bit easier to get money, a little bit faster. Oops, cranked. And then you get your 10. It's fine to mine with 1 guy for a little while. Just because the mineral distance on this map is a little bit harder. But we'll transfer over into the other guys. Then you're banking minerals for an expansion, pretty much, until you hit 100 gas. Then you do your armory. So you can either do a barracks after the armory, or you can do an expansion after the armory. In this case, because of the timings of the map, I'm going to do an expansion. I should have had this guy mining minerals for a little bit longer. You want to be banking up as much gas as possible, though, because once your armory goes down, you can go either 1 starport with the upgrade, or 2 starports, and then delay the upgrade just a little bit. So, yeah, in this case, I think I'm just going to send this dude back, because we're still hurting on minerals. Normally, like I said, the mineral distance over here is what's screwing up my build, I think, but in that case, I guess you would just like slam SCVs after the depot. But as you can see here, I have enough for actually everything that I want. I'm pretty sure. We can do double starport and ship weapon. As soon as we have the 1 more mineral return. So yeah, I really screwed up the resources. But by 4,000 frames, which is not even 2 minutes, you can have 2 starports and ship upgrades going. Starport's gas is 100. So if we restart knowing what we know about this shit, and we saturate our closer mineral fields first. So I'll play this a little bit more conservatively. And again, 8 gas, 9 depot, probably like a 10 racks. And then as soon as you have enough for an armory, you throw it down. It's 100 gas for an armory. If I was a little bit better with my split, I would immediately have enough for the gas here, but I don't. I could have grabbed that mineral field instead. It would have been a little faster. And I think you really only need the full sat on the gas at like 11 supply, or when the depot's finished. In that case, maybe it would be better to do 9 gas? 8 depot, 9 gas? That might be smoother. So there's definitely ways for optimization. And then at this point, we don't have the gas yet, but we do have the minerals for a barracks. So we'll go ahead and slot that one down right there. And we'll still have the minerals to get an armory immediately after we hit the gas timer here at the cost of an SCV. Which again is probably more so related to my shitty fucking split than anything. So yeah, I think maybe 8 depot, 9 gas would be faster. Because you'd have more like justification for immediately grabbing full saturation on the gas, because it's a little bit later into your pop when you already have a few more SCVs. You are allowed to make SCVs without being supply blocked. That sort of thing. So definitely something there. And here our armory is about to finish. We do have a marine coming out to handle any incoming aggression. And we can grab ship weapon and start a starport. So still grabbing pretty much everything you need in the early stages of the game. We have enough gas for another starport whenever we need it, whenever we get the minerals for it. Or we can bank this up for a fast control tower. In theory, you could do like a really crazy drop ship rush into marine drop if you really wanted to. Like you could do some pretty wacky stuff. Obviously, I'm supply block because I'm bad. We'll cancel that and get another SCV. And yeah, pretty epic. What do you mean by infinite minerals? Oh, you're talking about the fact that the AI does some really dumb shit with its workers. Like it's really bad at worker management. Yeah, I can agree with that. So this allows you to get pretty fast cloak starting and a second starport for extra wraith production. It's 150 minerals for a starport, not 200. But yeah, that's also another point. There's definitely, like I said, there's so many different ways that you could min-max this, right? And I'm also not playing very well or not constantly producing workers and all that shit. So there's tons of ways where a smarter player than I or a better player than I will be able to handle this shit. Meanwhile, my allies are expanding and stuff, and I'm not, so that's pretty cool. But I have a dropship now, so if I want to, I can go take the island, in theory. I have the ability to make a dropship. Oh, also, I didn't even realize this, but you can actually get pretty fast Valkyries out with this. There's the need for more depots. Right. I was wondering what you were talking about related to AI, though. And then I remembered it was because they do really stupid things with their workers. So yeah, off of this build, you know, it's I think my Wraith popped at like 6,600. Again, could be easier or could be faster than that. Depending on what happens. But that's 4.5 minutes into the game for your first Wraith. So... And you have Marines out pretty early on, too, if you need to. Like, obviously, I stopped Marine production because I wasn't being attacked. But... the Wyvern's not actually on. That's the Valkyrie. Yeah, so this is where also a situation where like eventually the changes to the new game state will make this build a little bit more epic. I'm helping. So with this build, eventually you'll be able to grab some pretty wacky shit, because eventually you'll have Oh, we actually still do crash. I really don't know what the source of that crash is. It didn't happen with the NORADs. I don't know what that means. AI can target only scouted targets. I think he's talking about it in PvP. I already sent you info on the crash. This is the same crash we were having yesterday. But yeah. Obviously the build is pretty fucking strong at this point. And at some point, we're going to allow dropships to pick up allied units. So a 2v2 or team game build will be possible where you put together a lot of... Let's just say that there's going to be a build where one player goes fast dropship and another player goes fast tanks. Just saying. Or like fast reaver or something without even getting a shuttle. Will be possible. Just gonna make that change to all of these. Oh, it looks like I caught a tile I never replaced. Oops. Just want to make sure that's still the same town. Yeah. Oh. Wow, that's a prank. So it's a bigger issue than I thought it was, actually. So I guess we can do this. Uh, 4.5 minutes on 4 SCVs was the one time that I just did now. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But I start the Wraith immediately, so just subtract the Wraith time. $37.5 seconds. So 3.8 minutes, which is 5580, it looks like. So if you're getting yours down at 4200, it's because you made some pretty significant improvements to the build. Like I said earlier, I think it would be faster if you ended up doing like a 8 depot, 9 gas, and then whenever you hit 100 gas, you would get armory. But it's definitely a powerful build, and considering you are all... I mean, I don't know if in your test did you make a barracks and a couple marines? Because that's what you would want to do anyway. Yeah. So if you got your shit out earlier, it might be because of the fact that you skimped on Marines. Though I'm not sure how you would even... Maybe you went for a fast expand or something? I don't know what you did with your minerals, because you float so many minerals if you don't build the barracks and Marines. I guess maybe you built like an extra depot or something. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Anyway, I was just trying to figure out something. Oh yeah, I was trying to solve the puzzle of these stupid-ass mineral fields. I guess we can just move those down. That'll have to be enough. But is that enough? Oh, okay, yeah. So we're just gonna fix the minerals by shifting them down a bit. Nice. Hey, that also liberated that fucking base from the tyranny. Okay. So now we're good. Everything seems to be... Shadow of different units in different states? I already was exploring all of this. Because it happened when there were only Protoss on the map, so I knew it was something that maybe it did also work in other units, but I basically tried everything I could. That would have, you know, happened. But I don't see anything here. Well, I can attach Ollie debug if that will help, but the bigger issue is I cannot replicate it whatsoever. And arbiters are not related either, because this was happening like super early into the game and there were no arbiters. Oh, okay. That's pretty epic. I don't know why that happened. Nope, nothing. There were no changes besides the A's updates. I haven't even modified the Protoss ice scripts to fix their shit. The busted ass. The gateway morph animations are broken. I haven't even fixed that. So. The Reliquary is not in the game. Not even in the AI script. I mean, I technically did change some stuff after I already saw the crash. Like, I was trying to figure out what it might have been. But... I haven't changed anything recently. Nice stack. Well, we have one Protoss player, so guaranteed to happen eventually. Haha. Nice liftoff bug. What a mess. I like how nobody's bothered. Oh, there we go. You found it. It's the same crash as before. At the same exact address. Same exact instruction. So what should I look at now? Yeah, what call stack? There's many threads. How do I do that? You mean this? The follow in CPU stack thing? If I select main thread, nothing is listed. If I select a thread, things are listed. You have to tell me what thread you want. No, you just didn't realize I was selecting a specific thread. As you can see, depending on what thread I select, different things are there. Well, there's nothing ever in the main thread, in my experience. It's always in different threads. I've never seen anything in the main thread. But none of these seem to have anything to do with what we're looking at. What is the shadow render function? I don't see anything about rendering shadows. So basically, I follow all this shit in a CPU stack until I find something that might be related to what I'm looking for. Oh, none of that looks good. The where it says called from over here. You literally do nothing besides hold the plus button down. Concentrate? You mean consecrate? Now, are you having 4 or 6 workers when you test this out? I'm gonna try it with a barracks or a depot at 8. See what I can find. Oh no, I should have returned the mineral. Idiot. Well, you have to cut an SCV in this instead of being able to produce it continually. Not a huge fan of that, but let's see what happens. Yeah, I don't know how you would not build a barracks in this situation. You've got so much money. And you don't really need the minerals per se. So maybe this would end up being a Forge Fast Expand style build, honestly. I could see that happen. Oh, I see. So if you do throw away your minerals on an expansion, you delay your starport pretty massively. So I guess the answer would be to build a barracks then. Because you have a lot of minerals there. The fact that I even thought maybe I should be floating, or not floating, maybe I should be taking an expansion or whatever. It's only because I had some, like, it ballooned money. But I think probably what you would do is, I think 8 Depot 9 gas is better. And then you do Armory, Barracks, Depot, or Armory, Depot, Barracks, but Barracks is probably safer if it's first. So you do this, and that's fine. So far we've had continuous SCV production, but obviously it'll go away once I hit this 9 gas timing. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of that stuff isn't actually named, which is really weird. So at this point, I'm just going to do 11 racks, but I guess 12 would allow you to keep doing SCVs. Just want the racks as soon as possible here. And we should still have enough minerals for an armory. And then we can do like 14, 15 depot or whatever. And then we want to hold off on SCV production so we can get a starport. Yeah, so this is much better. I mean, if I didn't get blocked there, I would have dropped it at... I would have dropped the starport at 40,000 or 4,000. 4,000? 4,000. Jesus Christ. English. So what is your bottleneck at that point? I guess it would be maybe if you do 8 gas instead of 8 depot, you actually have you have more gas, but you're trading SCV efficiency. Well, I don't know what map you're playing on, but I don't have the minerals for... I don't have the combined resources for that on this map, anyway. Even with these mineral efficiency improvements. Hello. Nice base layout, me. So right at 6K. Four minutes, 4.1 minutes, basically, almost 4.2. Not a bad Wraith timing. It's a whole 600 frames faster than before. And now we have a 2 Wraith push with a medic in the early game. Queue a drop ship behind this if we needed to. Oh shit. And we have Cloak coming as well. And it's here. Oh, we lost a ship because of stupid micro. But that's a pretty epic timing right there. 3 Wraiths, Cloak. I don't think it's that big of a deal in this case because that's going to be a map-specific thing, and it is symmetrical. So it's not like one player has better mineral efficiency than another. Beyond, this player probably has better mineral efficiency because, well, not necessarily efficiency, but he has more minerals. Yeah. Well, the problem is if you test with the latest EXE, which has the tile set stuff, you're gonna crash, so I'll wait until Iquare fixes that. He's looking into it. Hopefully we can fix it momentarily. I'll BRB again because I have to use the bathroom. Again. Hi. All right. So we've worked in a change over here, which is fine. We were going to reduce the build space available in this area. Now this does create a bit of a, what you would call a tank hole, where you could drop a ranged unit over here, and I guess they would still be able, you'd still be able to reach it with melee units. But it is in a little bit of an out-of-the-way position. That being said, if you've got units over here, I feel like you deserve to reap the rewards, like in enemy territory and all that. That's my take. Let's go a step further. And there you go. So now the real question is, what do I do with this high dirt? I've done pretty much everything I want to do over here. Besides maybe, like, I guess you could argue that this whole area could be extended back. Something like this. So just by 2 tiles. Resistance is 2 tiles. All right. All right. So that's a little bit more out there, a little bit more filled in. Squeezed out a little bit more interactivity. see. Wait. No, I don't. All right. So now I just have to figure out how I'm going to flesh out some of the decoration that we're missing, some of the cover that we're missing, but mostly the top left and bottom right strips, how I'm going to add some gameplay to those areas. What's up, Veek? Welcome. So my first thought is we connect this to broader landscape. Maybe we add a bit of a buffer. Alright, well, we'll fix that manually later. I can't do that, remember? It was crashing the game on startup. All right. I mean, obviously, I can figure out why it's crashing the game on startup and then do it. But. Until I do that, shit out of luck on that idea. All right, so now added a little bit of flavor to that area. And well, I'm not sure what else we can throw in there, but that's something. Did you really enjoy the chicken story? The Ahmed origin story. Yes. Every single one. Uh-oh, I fucked something up. Wait, is that happening over here too? No? Okay, I can fix that easy enough. That would have to be a use map settings only thing. But I could see that happening. Like, you wouldn't see that in Melee. Unless I decided to add that as a trigger to the Melee game mode. Always create an Ahmed and Charlie in random locations. What the fuck? my father called me, and that when I didn't pick up because I'm streaming, it auto-played whatever was playing on YouTube for some reason. The wonders of technology. If you sort yourself into the U force, it should become obvious. Man, where even is this? That is this. Ah, that's what that bit was. So basically the center island area there needs to be cut. Good to know. All right. So looks like we're in business here. Oh, wait, it was this one. I think. Maybe not. Well, these particular bases aren't actually symmetrical anyway. Aha. Let's see what happens there. So in that sense, it actually does align. Well, I'm totally confused now, because it seems like I just have more room over here. Oh, wait, no, I did 3 south. Okay, so that's where I screwed up. Gotcha. So this is supposed to be down by 1. Okay. That makes more sense. So now, while trying to align with this, and then we can say trying to align with this. Alright, I guess that one's already good. Yeah. It happens no matter what, as long as there are Protoss on the map. Just about ready to call it quits with the decor on this one, I think. Let's see what I can do for the upper area, though, the dirt. Okay. Man, what a confusing mess this tile set is to navigate. Did I really decide that that was the best fucking way to do it? Man, what a mess. Oh yeah, there is no high structure, so I needed to re-import the center tiles. Which it looks like I did. Thankfully. Welcome back. We have been expecting you. Okay. Oh, you want the previous track? All right, so hold on. I don't even know what CD we're on here. Okay. Anything to help a friend, you know what I mean? One sec. Track 9 off of that album. Enjoy. What's up, Kian? How are you? Yeah, everything you've been listening to is Sunmouth. He's got a very wide variety of TISM available for download. Hanging. Hell yeah, man. So I think we're good. Obviously, there's a lot that could be done with the decoration aspect here. Fuck. God damn it. Oh, here we go. Something different. I can't believe that is that dumb. Whatever. Fix it later. So did you check out my coastal cliffs earlier there, Kian? There's still not enough variety for my liking, but it's a pretty good start. I'll show them off more in depth in a second. But I posted a GIF of them animating in the Maritime Strategy channel a while ago, a couple days back. Or maybe that was yesterday. Honestly, it's hard to remember. But basically, I took the bridge tiles and I put them together in such a fashion. To remove all of the terrain blocks. Did some blending, make the corner pieces and all that. It works. Does the job. As far as I can tell. How to do the corner pieces as well, the inner and outer corners. And after not looking at it, you know, like the day I'm coming back to it a day later, and it looks more natural than I remember. Like I've already started to just decide, oh yeah, that's normal. So I guess it must not be too bad. I also put plating and panels from substructure onto asphalt. Still some minor changes I have to make, minor fixes I got to do, but for the most part, they're here to stay. Might as well do those fixes now. Sure we're dealing with the correct house out there. Oh. Oh. Wow, I'm stupid. Oh well. I guess it's a good thing that was the final fucking straw there, man. Holy shit, because I just overwrote the PSD file like a mongoloid. So yeah, it's a good thing I didn't need anything else. Bing bong. We're still trying to figure out what could be causing the crash. Ah. We might have a lead, boys. Turns out it apparently is one of the doodad sprites. What an asinine crash. Dish one shot isn't even used. Well, no. In this case, once I deleted the shadow image of the sprite, it works. So I think the reason why I imported that at all was because I'm not adding the buttons. There was some weird thing where the default shadow had a bug associated with it. Where you see that bottom strip down there? I was removing that. That's all I was doing. Because it was this random piece of lard. So now I've got to figure out why that particular why this crashes for some reason. Oh, so I guess dish one shot is the actual. Well, that's no good. Okay, I think we fixed it now. Of course they are. Why wouldn't they be? Well, you know what that means, boys? This map is ready to go. I think. We'll do one more test to be sure. We'll just let this run for a second while I pop into the TBL file here. The AI is really stupid with its pylons. I don't know why. We can eventually fix that anyway. The Zerg, for example... Oh, never mind. They did actually go for a really fast overload. I don't know. I have no idea. I think what I can do is I can call farms timing later into the script after they've already done their first build order, which would include, like, their first, few minutes or whatever. Once we get more research done with the actual build orders that are possible with Hydra, like more research about the Wraith port thing, like the fast 2-port Wraith, the fast factory stuff. When we get more information on that stuff, I think I'll have a better time, like, committing, like, making the AI follow those build orders. It's a little bit different for the AI, though, because they have resources. They have more resources than the player does with their resource increase. So instead of relying on a population cap, I would probably rely on, like, wait until you have enough resources to do this and then do it, or whatever. Or maybe I would make the resource threshold a little bit higher so that they always have a little bit of money for, like, workers or whatever. I don't get this move here. I don't know why. The AI thinks it'll be a good idea to put a macro hatch down before this. This is very silly. I'll have to double check on the... I could just add the same check that I do for everything else to the macro hatch. Should be fine. Same thing happened to the blue AI too. So we got 2 Protoss on one team. Wow. And 2 Zerg on the other team. So you know that the Zerg team is going to be fucking walked over. And Protoss is going to be annihilating. What a mess. Yeah. Hopefully it's not impossible to get rid of. I like how this 3 Zealot push just utterly destroys the AI in the early game. Now, if only all 3 of those Zerglings attacked at the same time, they wouldn't have died a horrible, ugly, disgusting death. Meanwhile, Brown's getting the ever-loving shit beaten out of him by 3 Zealots. Oh, 4. Oh. Aw, man. What a mess. Nice. So it looks like Teal was reposted, but Brown is natural, is dying. Again, a horrible death. I don't remember. I think Connor AI can build Lings in the early game. Maybe the Zerg AI specifically, like the Zergling Rush AI, which is what I believe is happening over here. That AI probably should build early Lings and attack. But maybe all the other AIs should withhold early Lings or attack with like 2 Lings but train a lot more. I don't know. Just so that they have stuff for defense. Because as you can see here, this is not looking too hot. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out what I'm missing here. No, Iquare, that's not a viable strategy. But they do mostly do it. Like Hydra, Basilisk, and then some Lurker later on. As well as obviously like Ultralisks, other small deviations. We can't have the AI doing, strategies that just aren't viable. It's too silly. Ah, yes, the double creep colony. Everybody's favorite build. Ah, quadruple creep colony. Hi. I heard you like to die. We do have cloaking wraiths incoming by the looks of things. Yeah, I think Ultra would probably be better anyway because you can benefit from the Carapace upgrades. Hey, somehow Brown is still alive. Oh, I guess we found out why Brown is still alive. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're hitting crashes anymore. Basically, it was crashing anytime a unit got vision of this, I think. Or every time the player moved their screen over there, anyway. So that's been resolved. Nice. So we do need... There is a weird bug where when you're right-clicking, your selection, first of all, your selection circle oftentimes doesn't get rendered, and when you right-click, your cursor acknowledgement thing that shows that you were clicking doesn't get rendered either. Connor initially reported this a long time ago where he said that it was happening on a ramp, but it's actually just, it happens everywhere, but it's only under certain circumstances. And I don't know what those circumstances actually are, so... Yeah. So we're at the limit, looks like. Maybe it's the limit of strings, though? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and... Don't worry, guys. Sometimes it takes 3 tries to open up the Hydra EXE. This whole time, clarions of the wrong string. Yeah, I like how you add at the end of your message. I don't know why I'm mentioning this. That's pretty good. Yeah, getting extended string support for the game is going to be pretty fucking important. I can't add any more strings now, again, even after condensing everything and removing a bunch of shit. So. I actually am not even 100% sure that this will even work. I'm going to make a quick copy of the EXE before I save. We're going to see what happens. Looks like we're good at it. That is a very hilarious fucking animation. Yeah, I feel like early range for your Hydras, I was talking about this in that shitty Zerg expansion campaign. I don't think that the range upgrade is... I think it's almost always better to take Hydralisk speed first, just so that you can micro them better and actually reinforce it faster. And then after that, obviously range is useful, but I feel like range is less useful than speed in most cases. Yeah, it's pretty insane that nobody decided to research AI before Nave. And it was at like the behest of me and Necron, basically asking him like, hey, do you know what the fuck is happening here? Like a huge portion of the game's functions are dedicated to AI too. It's amazing that they just decided not to bother with any of them. Like, what the fuck? See if there's any more graphics in the DLDD. No. Very unfortunate. Robotics Authority will look stupid until we get something reasonable. What do you mean you would never get range? You mean never get range first? Because range is pretty useful when you have it. What fucking kind of lunacy? Yeah, I feel like the range upgrade first would be pretty nice to break, to do like a Hydra bust of some sort, but people are also just faster with their build orders. Like, they've solved a lot more of things. I'm not sure if Hydra will be more or less ultimately solvable. I don't think it's going to get the same amount of fucking attention, obviously, as like the heyday of Brood War, the Korean Brood War supremacy or whatever. But I feel like there's just more you can do, like more build orders that are possible. Especially with Terrans. The Terran changes feel super good. But honestly, I thought about doing something similar to that for Zerg by really fucking with their tech tree a lot more and making the Spire a tier 1 thing. But obviously I don't think that would really work. In order for it to make it work, I would have to have like a new air unit or something that could be built from like before you get mutas, because mutas are really, really powerful if you can rush them. Like, you already are trying to rush them as much as possible, as safely as possible. So I don't think it would have the same impact. Like, for wraiths, you can counter that. For tanks or vultures or whatever super early, you could still counter that. Like, mutas at some point, you just end up not being able to counter them as much, I don't think. I don't know any of those details. I know that Bwappy is mostly what people go to. I do occasionally watch the streams for the tournaments on Twitch. I think escalations do end up becoming, like, as I've seen them explored, it does feel like maybe they were a little too ambitious. The idea that you're going to spend time to change which units that you can use. It feels like a decision that ultimately is just arduous to take. And in that vein, when we have enough unit entries and stuff, I think I'll just end up making add-ons for the new units instead. Firebats and Cyprians will probably just require an academy. Or maybe a Cyprian will require an armory. Or an engineering bay or something. Instead of them sharing tech requirements. But then, like, the Azazel will require an attached physics lab. Whereas the science vessel requires a control tower. Or something like that. Maybe the inverse. So that control tower is for Azazel and physics lab, which requires a science facility, is for science vessel. I don't know exactly how I'll do it. But I think I would probably lean more towards that sense. Where, like, for paladins, instead of removing Goliaths entirely, you just have to have a different add-on than the machine shop. I think that makes a bit more sense anyway for providing adaptations. It's sourced from the add-ons, which is already an intrinsic mechanic. Whereas, like, right now, escalations feel very... It feels like a one-time choice you would make. The idea that I had was that players would modify their composition using escalations based on what the enemy was doing. But the playstyle of the new units that I added is so distinct. The Cyprians are going to get reworked at some point so that their basic attack is different than it currently is. And their health will probably drop by a few, at least 10 points, I think. And then they'll have, like, slightly increased range so that they're a little bit different than the Firebat. And I'll probably have them deal normal damage instead of explosive. I might even go all the way to say have them deal concussive, but I don't think I will. But they'll become a bit more of like an all-purpose anti-ground as opposed to specialized towards anti-mech, anti-vehicle, because they're already not tanky enough to really do that. And the AoE thing that they do is not really that effective, even in large numbers, because of the fact that it's explosive, and they're mostly fighting like Zerglings and Hydras or whatever. in general, I think there's a large number of changes that ought to be made. But right now, the Terrans can't really... Why would you ask me how to use something when you give me a link to a fucking README that tells you how to use it? Jesus Christ. What a waste of my time. To even read his message, let alone try to respond to it. Bye. But yeah, there will be some changes, is the bottom line. Hydra's going to have some overhauls once we have more tech available. More technical aspects available. I think Brood War AI is the best AI framework that exists. Like, even though you can't really access a lot of it, it's not very accessible. Definitely needs a lot of patching and stuff. But like you said, it can be reformed into something that does function pretty well. And you can't say that about any, like, the fact that it's such a low bar, the idea that you'll still have to do a significant amount of work to reform it or whatever, but... Alright. So, don't have that much time left in my stream today. And I definitely want to get a bit more work done here, so we're going to try to do just that. I guess we don't even need to bother with that. We'll cheat and shift this down just by one tile. All right. So if you're wondering what this is for, one, to add a little bit more actual gameplay space to the area. Another, to let people bully the worker line of the main if they infiltrate back here. A nice little reward for doing that. It's definitely a little like, yeah, whatever, just put something there. It's not very inspired, I don't think, looking at it now. But, you know. And there you go. I think that'll do it. How are we going to, or how so? Wait, what? Yeah, the height changes are really important. Yeah, even though we immediately found a way to automate all the work I was doing, I still think it was a valuable skill. It was also pretty good for motivation, the fact that I was able to pick it up and learn and be somewhat competent at it in such a short time. Reminded me that, hey, you know, you've got plenty of, there's plenty of skills that you can use here. Plenty of skills that you can learn. Because I always just assumed I would never be able to learn that shit. So. Nice to prove myself wrong in that respect. Oh, how soon? Yeah, well, that's as soon as possible, really. We're still waiting on some AI stuff, like you're doing those hooks for build queue and whatnot. After you said that you would work on, you said you had some idea to do something after you fixed the stacking issues. I can't remember what you said you wanted to work on, though, after the thing. But if you want to jump to height changes after the stacking is fixed, that would be useful. I still need you need build Q, I need build Q, but I also need attack jump. Oh, no, you said after the stacking you were going to fix AI attack move. That's what you were talking about. So the AI continues to group its units together, but also will check any enemy within its aggro range. All right. Well, let me just go ahead and process a map image. Ah, I see. So you'll also be able to use that. Cool. Nice. There still could be some additional cover and stuff. Obviously, decor is far from done. But pretty good. Right, yeah, so I think what you're saying is you have to maintain control over the upgrade structure for long enough in order for the upgrade to finish. Well, I'll go ahead and throw this map up there for now. I guess for people to play it in Melee, I should remove the start locations. Yeah, I like that idea too. We'll see about the expensive nature of them. I'm pretty sure they are... I don't know. I think maybe they'll be more expensive in supply than anything, but we'll see. I don't think they'll be like double the price of a normal unit or anything. I still have to decide what I actually want to include with them. I haven't done much theory crafting on that or the champions. No, it's pretty close to the point where I got to start getting ready for work and all that, which means I have to eat lunch and I got to do a bunch of other shit. So I will be going, but it has been a day, that's for sure. And we managed to solve that crash, thanks to iCore's help looking at it. We managed to finish that map. Managed to patch up the AI a little bit. So nothing crazy. So I guess my next target will be continuing to modify the AI a little bit. That'll probably be what I do tomorrow. Try to make that melee AI just a little bit more competent. I do also have to go through and reduce the cap of upgrades till tier 5 instead of 10. We'll test out with that for a while, because past that it seems to get really silly. And buildings just melt way too quickly. Otherwise, I did update the new game state documentation with replacement for structure armor for all factions, for all races. Because to me it was not... For one, I didn't see really anybody getting it, but I also didn't see that much of an impact when the stuff was put together. So for Terran, I replaced structure armor with an upgrade called Fusion Sealer, which increases SCV repair rate to 150%, which is the same amount of increases like a Zealot speed increases, right? So it's pretty significant, obviously. We'll have to see how, like that might be too powerful or whatever, but all of these upgrades are like late game. They're meant to be high impact. So the sealer upgrade right now is only 150 minerals, 150 gas. Is a long amount of time and is at the engineering bay, and it does require a science facility. So based on those requirements, I think it should be reasonable. Might have to up its cost or reduce the impact of it, but we'll see. It's going to be pretty useful, I think, just because of the fact that so many times, especially in the mid to late game, Terran bring SCVs with their mech armies to like repair stuff. If they can repair stuff even faster, it's going to be pretty powerful, obviously. So that's the defense-oriented upgrade. It would be like if you had 1.5 SCVs repairing for every 1 SCV, basically, in terms of how much speed is done. It doesn't reduce the cost of repair, just the speed, that the time it takes. So if you took a look at if you have 2 SCVs repairing something, it's going to be like you have 3 SCVs repairing something with this upgrade. What's up, Mutas? We're about to head out. I'm just talking about the latest changes that I've been conceptualizing. They're not implemented yet. But that will be the replacement for structure armor at some point. So the Protoss replacement for structure armor is, if I can find it, it's called Prismatic Shield, and it increases shield armor by 2 for photon cannons. This might end up being either too niche or actually too strong, but it's specifically designed for photon cannons. One thing that I did have in mind is maybe this would apply to all buildings or to all buildings powered by multiple pylons or something. And I also thought about shield regeneration, but that's already an upgrade. It's called temporal batteries. So I think this is a very specifically targeted upgrade to photon cannons. Also very straightforward. Don't really know what's going to happen with all that. Might end up needing to be to hit the cutting room floor and reimagine it. And then for Zerg, there is Rapid Reconstitution, which grants 200% health regeneration to all colonies, Creep, Sunken, Spore, and Chasmal. So this is double life regeneration, basically. This requires a hive, 150 minerals, 150 gas. The prismatic shield upgrade requires robotic support bay and is 200 minerals, 200 gas. All of them cost the same amount of time, which is like the same time as like I think the first level of a infantry weapon or something like that. It's like a pretty heavy one. I think the repair thing is pretty up. Like, if anything, I'm worried about it being too strong, honestly. Because I do think that people would repair their mechs a lot more often if they had some guarantee that the mech units would actually survive longer. And if they need less SCVs on the front lines to do that, or if they bring the same amount of SCVs but get 150% speed, it'll be pretty strong. No, I don't think Chasmal Colonies have graphics. Let's see. And I need more flingy entries before I can do anything. Yeah, there's nothing here for them. So, no. I have no entries whatsoever to pick from. I could pick, like, image entries or whatever from... right now we're taking apart the Twilight tile set because I didn't think we would be using that. At some point, I'll restore all of those and just use extended entries. But we shall see. And yeah, that's it. I don't know what you're talking about with 125% or 120. You're talking about the repair? Or are you talking about health regen for sunken colonies? Yeah, none of it's implemented yet anyway, so... Yeah, I don't think we need that. It is dedicated to defense, I'm pretty sure. The Chasmal Colony stuff. Yeah, it's attack speed for nearby colonies. And it's a toggle, so you either toggle that on or you toggle the barrier on, which overheals units by up to 10%, while also increasing regeneration. But who knows? Maybe I'll allow it so that... Oh yeah, arterial generation. I forgot about that. So that's like the passive. I forgot about this entirely. So I went about doing it in a different way. So every 2 seconds, the Chasmal Colony connects to another nearby unit or colony. It might have to be like less than that. I don't know. It might have to go faster than that because the adaptive barrier thing... It might have to be like 2 units or 1 colony every 2 seconds. Just because, like, imagine the number of units that you have. But maybe if you have a large number of Chasmal colonies, it won't matter. We'll see. Yeah, I think when you select the Chasmal colony, it should show it. But it might end up being like an actual graphic that connects to it. Or something, I'm not sure. Just for visibility, so that enemies know what's happening. That would be ideal, I think. But we'll see. There's so many different aspects of the game as far as like reads go that are gonna make it really fucking confusing if we don't have some really good art direction. Thankfully, I'm pretty competent in that, and DF is obviously pretty competent given enough time. So pretty sure the two of us together will be able to smash something into existence. But we'll see. And that's it. So tomorrow, another mod stream, get some more work done on the AI, try to shape it up in time for Fraud Night, maybe get some more decor or whatever done for that map. But otherwise, Fraud Night is tomorrow. We will be gaming with Hydra. Whoever's there, we'll be hanging. And yeah. Looking forward to testing out that map and anybody else's melee maps. I know some people are working on some stuff. Obviously, looking forward to seeing whether or not we die to the AI or anything like that. We'll see. But yeah. Thanks everybody who popped in and said hi. Bye.